Hey Tommy, as you know, one of my big bugaboos is that all the car manufacturers are really conservative when it comes to color choices. Usually the color choice that we have are black, white, gray, or gray. But Toyota has gone and done something very interesting. In this video, we're going to show you the hero color for the next model year, and we're going to show it to you on 4 different vehicles. We'll start with the 4Runner, and then we'll go to the Tacoma, Tundra, and finally on the Sequoia. So you want to introduce the color?
Yeah, let's do it. Boom, the new hero color for this new round of TRD Pro Toyota trucks. And in this video, we'll show you all of them. Now, this is an awesome color. It's called Wave Maker, and it's debuting on the 2026 TRD Pro lineup. Here we go on the 4Runner. Dad, what do you think of this crazy bright blue?
I love it, Tommy. You know, we've had such conservative color choices in this country, and mainly because you think that you and I buy the cars. It's not. It's really the dealers who buy the cars, and they are very gun shy of buying something that's going to sit on the lot a la this. But you know what? I love the fact that Toyota has gone out there and created a color that is both, what would you say, blue and light blue and neon? Would that be a good mixture of colors to get that Wave Maker color?
Oh, it's awesome. So they're definitely embracing some of the 80s and 90s vibes. It looks like something you might find on like the side of a Dixie cup.
Hey, hold on. I think I had a ski jacket in this color. You're exactly right.
That's exactly right. But look, let's kind of talk about some of the heritage behind these TRD Pro colors. So how many special paints do you think TRD Pros have had over the years?
I could probably name maybe 3 or 4 of them. There was the Army Green.
Yep, that was a Pro hero color.
There was, is it Octane Orange? It's some kind of orange.
I think you're right. I think that was called, yeah. So I'll give you a hint.
I don't think it was Octane, but it was orange.
There's
Solar Orange.
There's 11 colors. Yeah, so it debuted back in 2015. The first hero color was called Inferno.
Okay.
But we've had colors like Mud Bath, which we've seen very recently, Terra for 2024, Solar Octane for 2023. I think that's the one you're thinking of.
Yeah.
Solar Octane.
Solar Octane.
There's also like the lime green colors that we saw a few years ago. And this is the color for the 2026 model year. Now, here's the secret with these colors, like we saw this with Army Green, is these colors debut on the Pros, right? And they're only a TRD Pro color, but then it trickles down into the rest of the lineup. So like Army Green was such a cool color, people were all upset you could only get it on the Pro, and then like the following year you could get it on like a TRD Off-Road as well. So we're probably gonna see that with this color as well.
Well, I will wager, Tommy, that this is gonna be a pretty deep thread when people see the color that they've done for the new TRDs. Well, shall we head over here to the Taco?
Yeah, for sure. So we got the new 4th generation Tacoma now. It's been out for a couple of years. I gotta say, this truck looks phenomenal in this color. I really think that it suits it because the previous Tacoma was a little buttoned down and serious, but something about this new Pro with the crazy seats and the huge hood bulge just screams fun, and that's what this color says as well.
You know, if I were a surfer, Tommy, I would take my surfboard and I would throw it in the bed and I'd hit the beach with this, because this screams to me beach truck.
Yeah, really cool, huh?
Yeah, I agree. And you know what? I think especially what makes it so especially interesting is when you have this very dark tint on the windows, and then you've got these accent black colors, including the fender flares. It just really pops this really interesting blue color. You know, it's kind of like black and red or black or yellow. The two colors just go together like peanut butter and jelly.
Now, if we take a look at this new truck, I wonder what they did on the interior. It does have red accents. Hey, Dre, you mind unlocking this truck for me? Thank you, sir. Yeah, so I think that it would have been kind of cool if they had brought some of that blue onto the inside. So it's got these kind of red stitching, which we'll see here in a second. And look, like the red and the blue, you can see it here with the Pro badge. It's not a bad look, but it's a little bit odd in its execution. So that would have been a really cool way. Here we go. Thanks, Dre. So check this out. So the red stitching here, right? The red behind the Toyota. Wouldn't that have been nice, Dad, if they had also done that in the bright blue?
Yeah, I think that would have been very nice and very expensive.
It probably would have added some more cost. And we don't know what the pricing is going to be on these colors, but typically in the Toyota lineup, it's like $300 to $500 for these special colors. And do you think people are going to go for it, Dad? These crazy eccentric tones?
I'll tell you, I know who's going to go for it, Tommy.
Who's going to go for it?
What is the official truck of Hawaii?
Yeah, maybe.
This is, if you guys are in Hawaii and you love the taco, this would be the color that I would choose, because this just looks like Hawaiian ice to me. You know, if you get a little bit of the, let's call it guava or blueberry mixed together, you end up with this color.
Now the nice thing is, if you are not a fan of these crazy tones, you can still get standard TRD Pro colors like ice cap, right? Like the black, right? Those are going to be sticking around. But in my opinion, when I see these on the used market too, it seems like the special colors often hold just a little bit of a premium. So if it was me, I would go with Wave Maker all day long.
You know, it cuts both ways. Basically, what you're doing when you're buying this color is you're buying the dream truck in the dream color. And the question, of course, you have to ask yourself is, how many other people share that dream? And sometimes, if you find that person, it's got added value, but if you don't find that person, it can be a little bit more expensive when it comes to resale value, or it could be a little bit less expensive when it comes to resale value. And that's why dealers don't like these colors, because the average Joe or Jane who walks out on the lot may forego this and go for the usual black, white, gray, black.
I'm surprised. The thing that really makes this work is actually the gloss flares, and then also these little gloss corners on this Tacoma. For some reason, the brightness of the color really works well with the brightness of the flares, and I don't quite think you get that with like this Tundra. So you'll notice...
It's got that urban camo on here.
Yeah, you're right. It's got kind of that little matte finish with the little texture on it. And then it does have the on this Tundra, we do have the bright black mirror caps. But I wish they had brought that bright black, piano black under the flares, which is a crazy thing to say, Dad. You know why?
Why?
Because maybe the flares are not great in piano, because that piano black might scratch on the trail, right? It might really show pinstriping, and that's an interesting point I just thought about, is that this Tundra probably won't.
So, you know, as we get into the more expensive Toyotas, Tommy, I'm talking about the Tundra and eventually the Sequoia, which we'll head over to next, I kind of feel like these colors work less, because now you're talking about people who are spending, you know, in the case of the Tundra, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, and they may be a little reticent to spend that on a color that looks like, you know, a popsicle.
Yeah, I could see that. To their credit, though, if you look at like the full-size truck category, Silverado, F-150, there's not a lot of crazy bright tones, especially you know, with the American automakers. Same thing with Ram. Even in the RHO, you can't get a crazy gumball color. So at least there's a company trying it out. But I think you're right that I'll be curious to see if we get these colors in the full-sizers. You also see that the color makes its way over kind of toward the bumper cap here, which is
well, the question you got to ask yourself is, why aren't you seeing these kind of crazier colors in full-size trucks? Is it because the dealers won't order them, or is it because the manufacturer knows that this is not a color that's going to sell well? But irregardless, when you're looking at, let's call it the halo color with the halo truck, there will be a certain percentage of people who will have to have this color, and I have to say, I'm one of them, dude.
This is a nice touch on the Tundra too. I wish they'd done this on, for example, the 4Runner, where they bring the piano black accent across that A-pillar, so it gives it that floating roof look. I just really like the look of this gloss against the gloss, but I do worry about how that's going to hold up on the trail.
This is a little weird. So here it works, but then here they didn't
commit to the bit. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly, and so you lose that kind of floating different color because of that.
Well, the roof is still the same color.
Yeah.
I think these would look cool if you had actually the roof
I think it would look cool if the roof were black or white.
Yeah, I think maybe that would be a nice little addition you could do with some wrap, is make the roof black.
As we head on over to the Sequoia TRD Pro, let me ask you a question. Because this is the question that I think is on the minds of many of our viewers and listeners as they're watching this, which is, let's say you head on over to the Toyota dealership and you're a family man and you surprise your wife with this. Will she kick you out of the house, or will she happily accept the new crazy color on the family hauler?
I'm not sure that my wife would be super stoked with this color.
Okay, well, this is the question I was wondering. But I know my wife wouldn't be.
Yeah, but I do appreciate what they're doing. Did you also see these little details too? Look at this. We have the marker lights in the grille. And I'm not sure if I've seen that. Someone drop me a comment below. Is that unique to the 26 model year? But
thanks, dude.
That's a super interesting look. A lot of Toyota people have been doing this in like 4Runners and stuff for years. Do you see that? They've got the marker lights in the grille.
Yeah,
have they been doing that?
I mean, the reason for the marker lights, and heavy-duty trucks is because they're wide, right? They're what, 8.5 feet?
Yep.
I don't think this is 8.5 feet.
No, I don't think so.
I just think it's a cool addition.
And then you've got the huge Toyota font, of course, on the front of both the Sequoia and the Tundra.
And if I got that 8.5 feet wrong, please correct me. I'm sure you will. But it's maybe something that is now kind of making its way down the product line to the non-HD vehicles. Once again, kind of urban camo, same problem. Like you said, this would be cool if this was blue, but you've got red. And like I think that it would be very expensive to take this color from the outside and move it to the inside.
So what do we think that which of the trucks that we profiled today looks best in the new Wave Maker color?
Oh, dude, I would get the. I would definitely get the truck Tacoma TRD Pro. Like I said, throw a surfboard back there or any other kind of beach implements, and head on to your favorite surf location. You'll be the star of the show.
And I think that this one also looks the best because we talked about the black roof on the Tundra, and the Tacoma does have that black roof.
Look.
Yeah, it goes all the way back.
Exactly.
No, I think that was by far the best implementation of the Wave Maker blue. So that's the winner in my book as well. That's really well done.
Cowabunga. Is that what they say? Is that what you surfers say? Is that or is that a Simpsons reference?
A Colorado interpretation of what they might say.
All right, let us know in the comments below. Why don't you show them all four again, Tommy? Is your favorite the 4Runner, the Tacoma, the Tundra, or the Sequoia TRD Pro? As always, this is Roman.
And Tommy, we'll see you guys next time.
Hey, you saw it here first. Ciao.